Everyone qualifies. First, you need to speak with our CARES team. We receive many requests, so we recommend you answer a few questions on our website, greencardguys.com. Our mission is to help people live and work in America legally. Go ahead and subscribe below and follow and share. Talk to you soon. Okay, how are y'all doing? Good to see you. Looks like uh, I have a little glitch on YouTube. All right, there we go. So, hope y'all doing good. Today is September 28th, 2023 on Thursday, okay? Today I want to talk about the real story behind most marriages that I probably already talked about before, but really going straight to the point to share with you my concerns about marriage cases. And yeah, I'll share that today. If you don't know me already, my name is John Ting. I practice immigration law, helping you solve your immigration problem and hopefully preventing it from happening in the first place, folks. Because there's a hell of a ton of immigration problems, and some of you are aware of them. Some of you don't know any exist and think that filing for a marriage case to a U.S. citizen is a piece of cake, and it's not. It's unfortunately not. Sometimes when people hear things like, "Oh, marriage cases are getting the interview waived in 2023," that means, oh, it should be easy for me. Why not? Why not me? Well, it depends on your evidence, depends on your facts. You can't just make shit up at the interview. It's got to be real. It's got to be a legitimate marriage. And I'll tell you what, I have more knowledge about this kind of situation to share the real story. Okay, go straight to the point, because a lot of y'all get married like, oh, I found that person in my like neighborhood or something. I don't know what you call it. Like I got matched up by my family. Okay, yes, arranged marriages are accepted in America, but in certain cultures, right? Um, I've heard some statistics that it's actually like if you get arranged through a family, it's actually like stronger in that way. But look at this. Okay, whether it's arranged, whether you matched up on Tinder, other Bumble, or I'm not sponsored by any of these dating apps, but or met on a blog or Facebook, whatever the hell it was, or at a bar, you just need to get your facts straight, okay? A lot of y'all don't talk to each other for some reason. You're married or in a relationship, but y'all don't really talk to each other. I find it mind-boggling. So y'all need to read some books on communication, read the five love languages. Not trying to give dating advice here, right? But ultimately, this kind of information will help you at the interview. And if you're trying to waive the interview, then ultimately it will also help you build the evidence together before you file your case. Now, again, we try to share real hard tips, hot tips here for y'all, because we don't want you to suffer a problem. We don't want you to suffer delay. We can't prevent delays, okay? But when there is a delay, we're happy to help sue the government for you, right? Depending on the timing. But at the end of the day, a lot of people get denied. I feel so bad for many of y'all. And there's nothing that someone should say like, "Oh, that person deserved it." No, there's no such thing like that. But it's kind of like this phrase in America we use: "Buyer beware." So even if you did hire a lawyer, you need to verify that lawyer, and it could have been a high cost, could have been low cost. Uh, Now, for folks that you guys hire like non-lawyers, what's the point of even paying someone? I just don't get that part, because I've seen a lot of cases. We're the immigration problem solvers, so we get a lot of the documents won't say the notary's name. I know a lot of y'all in that community have that um, notary stamp license through your state. That doesn't mean, folks, that doesn't mean that person's a lawyer. But I can understand why you want to help, but please refer to a lawyer, okay, who focuses on immigration law. Okay, there are law firms that do multiple things, but you need a specific lawyer that focuses on immigration law. Okay, I'll share later on social media an example about that. Later on, I'll upload a video about that. But here's the deal, okay? Is that some people getting an interview for a marriage case. I know not everyone here is about wanting to get married. I get it. Okay, we talk about other options depending on topic of the day. But if you get married, y'all need to talk to each other, okay? And it's not like, I know this generation of this era of technology, y'all just texting each other. Hey, what's up, honey? And you're like in the other room. You're in the same house. Like, for real, guys, come on. Like, I guess that could be helpful for screenshots to show USCIS, uh, but if the lease or mortgage statement shows that you both live there, it's just a little strange, right? So, how long is AOS taking? Someone asked. If it's a marriage case, average 12 months. But if you have all the right substantial evidence to show bona fide marriage, we've had cases approved in, like, I think the shortest one was maybe 1 month. So average 3 to 5 months, okay, for a marriage case. But look, if your evidence, let's say you get let's say y'all have a bank statement together, a joint bank account, and that is a wonderful step. You have taken that decision to allow another person, another human, to be part of your bank account. Wonderful. The USCIS wants to see that because at any point in time, that other person that you just added to your account can take money out of the account and can also deposit money into the account. You might be wondering, John, we know this stuff already. Like, what the hell else are you talking about? Okay, so more detail. Your bank statement, your bank account, okay, needs to have transaction activity. It needs to have more money in the account. So some of y'all might have like $200 in there. Again, if I was a USCIS officer, I'll be a little bit more skeptical. Like, why is it, like, that's great, you guys join an account. If I were a USCIS officer, hopefully, I don't know if any other immigration officers are listening to this, but I don't know if it's part of y'all's training, but if I were looking at this and I say 5 transaction activities, $500 here, where's your money at? Where are you hiding your money? Where else is it? Like, look, USCIS is not going to ask you about other accounts if you have, or to tell you, show me all your accounts. Thank God, because some of y'all have a lot, and that's fine. But maybe consider selecting the one that has a little bit more money in there, okay? And one that you use more often. Look, I get it. Not everyone uses a debit card. Maybe most of your expenses are through a credit card. So, okay, then join a credit card together and then join the bank account that pays off that credit card, okay? Because some of y'all think, oh, marriage certificate is enough. Well, most of y'all know that it's not enough. But then some of y'all think, oh, we got a joint bank account. That's great. But again, if I were a USCIS officer, and most do, they look at it closely and say something's up, or something's going on here. Like, I get it if you just got married, but we encourage people. I get it. You want the work permit, but who cares about the work permit? At the end of the day, you want the green card. Okay, so if you want the best case scenario to waive the interview for your marriage case, wait some time. But even before you get married, or you already know you're going to get married, right? Let's say you got to save the date, things like that, and whatnot. You have time. You already know you're going to get married. So go ahead and join that bank account together, or add one person to the other, and then go ahead and start thinking about that, okay? We typically don't walk clients through that process because by the time you hire us, you may already been married, right? So that's why we encourage people to actually hire us before you get married so that we can provide these extra tips. But hey, if you're watching us on the live shows, you would know these tips anyway. So anyway, this is a great time for me to ask or share with you that we do offer a strategy session for 15 minutes at no cost to you, okay? You don't have to pay us a penny for these 15 minutes. Now, not everyone is qualified, okay, for the free 15 minutes. Not everyone is qualified. First, you have to watch a live show to know the secret code because our team prioritizes your inquiry, especially when you complete the form or you give us a call. Say, so share the secret code. All right. The code today is USA. I know it's not too creative, but I got to come up with a new code every day. Today's code is USA. You can give us a call right up here on YouTube and Facebook, or if you're on, go to greencardguys.com. Okay, greencardguys.com, or you see this other website on Facebook and YouTube. Check that out. All right. The other thing I want to share with you, okay, the real story behind most marriage cases, that if there is not insufficient evidence and the government thinks that there's USCIS thinks something's a little off with this, or they research more that, oh, the spouse is actually in jail, they're going to most likely go to where your address is, your apartment, your home, wherever you live, your mansion, I don't know. They're going to go to your home, okay, and they're going to ask some questions. And no, and you might wonder, well, I'm not at the apartment anyway. They're going to ask the leasing office some questions about y'all, okay? Like, who lives there, right? And yeah, they may have a copy of your lease already, but they want to say, like, hey, have you seen this person, this person at this apartment 111 have a spouse, or like, some significant other walk with them? Have you noticed that? Of course, depending on the apartment building, obviously, if it's like a really big building, then it's different, right? But if it's one of those like smaller complex, typically the apartment managers and whatnot, they might know like almost everyone. So keep that in mind, okay, folks? Hey, Tasha on YouTube, I want to get to you real quick here. You asked, can I do a video about IR5 interview questions might be asked at interview, both here and abroad? You can't find anything on it. Yeah, it's typical. So I remember you asked me before, and I wrote this down. I just haven't had time to do it. When is an interview, Tasha? Let me write this down, though. Interview. And is that AOS or is that CP? Because sometimes it's different. Okay, there's some extra stuff depending on the scenario. But yeah, there's typically not one that's specific just for IR5. So even though it's not in a marriage case, then that's fine. But yeah, it's good to know those questions. So in fact, it should be less questions since it's not a marriage case. Okay, guys, I'm losing my voice already. Good thing I don't have a meeting at 12:30. At least I don't think so. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. So just one last thing about today's topic that I'm going to answer some questions. Okay, Tasha, I see your comment. AOS end of next month. Okay, great. I got some time, but I'll try to get to you soon. Okay, next week. Stay tuned. I'm going to try to ramp back up some recorded videos and upload that. I haven't done that in a while. The real story is that y'all need to get it together, okay? Pick it with your evidence and each other. Again, some of y'all don't talk. But the thing is, because even if USCIS comes to your home and you gave all the evidence you thought you could give, right, they still could go to your home because USCIS the United States of America loves to discriminate. I think y'all know that already. They just try to fly by and not try to say it's discrimination, obviously. They try to say it's their screening process, right? I totally get the national security thing, but they tend to discriminate and do certain actions like visiting your home or your apartment for certain ethnicities, cultures, and would I dare to say skin color? Maybe. So you really want to be careful when you consider paying this amount of money, whether it's to a lawyer or you file by yourself and you're paying the government fees, right? It's $17.60 for the government fee when you file for AOS and a petition. It's pretty significant. So don't just think like, oh, it's no big deal. Because there's some people like that. I got some family members like that. Like, oh, it's no big deal. I got some friends like that. There's no big deal. I'll do it myself. I remember having a friend tell me like, oh, I'll take the LSAT. It's no big deal. Like, okay, I get you want a little bit more chill mentality. I get that. I'm not saying you got to be stressed out, but you need to be ready. You need to consult with a professional with a license so that you get the best case result. And I'm going to share with you the worst case result. I know these situations because we sue the government, and most of the lawsuits that we have are not are where we're not even the original lawyer, right? And a lot of lawyers refer us cases where we sue the government. And so because we weren't the original lawyer, which is fine, we don't review all the evidence that any client may have provided. We do ask for some evidence, but not about the marriage case, right? Because that's already been done. It's already been filed. So we see things and we're like, maybe you should not have filed yet, or maybe you should have gotten certain other evidence before filing. Okay. Because then they come down to a situation. Sometimes we sue and USCIS sends us a courtesy copy of the NOID, notice of intent deny. It's typically that situation. Sometimes RFE, request for evidence, but especially if they already had an on-site inspection with a USCIS officer, it's typically going to result in a NOID. And then some clients that when we sue the government, they don't tell us that they already had been inspected, that USCIS officers already visited their home, their apartment, right? So that's a little concerning. So if you speak with a lawyer, doesn't have to be with us, all right? I highly recommend you tell your attorney everything that has happened in your case or has not happened in your case, all right? We want to know all the skeletons. We have to know it so that we can provide you the best case scenario if we can help it, right? There's some situations like we can't help it. It's already like if we help you with mandamus lawsuit, it's too late to provide evidence in that sense. You can mail it in, but it might not get in the file, right? So you really got to do your due diligence, just like you would expect us to do for your case. So if you're filing this case by yourself, please don't think it's easy. Filling out the forms is the easiest part, but even then, we have clients that ask us questions about the questions, right? So if that means anything, so that's part of our service. We help you from start to finish, or even when you get a RFE or NOID, we'll help you all the way until you can get that residency or that status. All right, so that's the bulk of it. All right, that's the real story I want to share with you. Of course, I have many more stories that I don't disclose client names, of course. I have to share with you, disclaimer, this is legal information. This is not legal advice. But if you want to get that legal advice, you know what to do. We offer a strategy session for 15 minutes, no cost to you. The secret code today is, what did I say today was? No, USA. The secret code today is USA. So if you're at work and you're trying to be sly and watch us live on YouTube, Facebook, or TikTok, just send us a DM so you don't forget what to do. Send us a DM on the secret code USA, and we'll send you the website or phone number, okay? And you're also welcome to share your situation, your question on TikTok message, for example, so we'll have a better idea to guide you. No problem at all. Okay, Arzo, oh, shoot. Sorry, Maria. Okay, Maria on our marketing team is helping out with pinning some comments on TikTok because I really appreciate it. Y'all trust me to answer your questions. That means a lot to me. Let's see here. Hey, Anu, what's up? Going nice to see you. Welcome back. You ask, NIW does not require employer sponsorship. That's correct. What's your work permit while GC is pending? So typically when we have NIW, those are folks those applicants are outside America. So there's no work permit in that kind of situation with consular processing. There are times when it's H-1B, you could do that, but that's when you file a 485. Is H-1B self-sponsored? No, you'd still need an employer for that. But hey, it's America. A lot of people can create jobs very easily. Okay, so anything is possible, legally speaking. Usama on YouTube. Sorry, Usama, let me get back to you soon. On TikTok, how long should I wait to file after marriage? I mean, we've had clients where we filed in like less than a month. But again, it really depends on the your evidence that you may have or not have. So if you don't really have evidence, like you're waiting to get a lease, things like that, like some apartment complexes don't allow immigrants to have your name on the lease. So I get it. You might like that apartment because it's lower cost. I get it. But it's really not all apartment complexes are the same. There's a lot that actually allow the immigrant's name on the lease together with your spouse, for example, and where you don't have a social security number. Usually the I would think that the ones that cost more typically are the ones that want to verify, social security number, things like that, which I don't know. Do they? I think maybe they need it for background check or something. I'm not sure of that. But last Mupandi, how can you just ask their marriage within, I don't know. Well, okay, here. No, I do know. I'm just trying to click on this button here. With an illegal entry. So there are several exceptions to that, but one of the go-to exception is if you had some other family member file, or a company file, a petition for you or labor certification through a company long time ago. So before April, for what related to family petition, has to be before April 30th, 2001. Okay. So that's a law called 245I. All right. That's one exception. I can't go through all of them right now. There's a lot. Or military parole in place. You have a family member that's in the military. No, not uncle or aunt or cousin, parent, spouse, or adult child. All right, Usama. Sorry, I might have to answer less questions today because of my voice. But if you don't mind, you're still welcome to give us a call or schedule appointment, or fill out the form on our website, greencardguys.com. Secret code is USA. All right, Usama, we when you submit a case petition I-130 for green card, then after that, is it necessary to review case, and how many months does it come? You mean your green card? If you filed 485 also, I mean, average, yeah, if it's marriage, 12 months. But of course, a lot of lawyers talk about interviews waived. It's not guaranteed for everyone. You got to really have pinpointed evidence for that, okay? Let's see here. How long does it take to get, I think, let me go to, okay, Queen. How long does it take to get a visa interview after NVC has accepted the application? So you mean accepted like the receipt notice? You got a long way to go, buddy. I'm sorry. You got a long way to go, Queen. So, because when you say accepted, that makes it sound like received by the USCIS. So I don't know your family relationship with the person you sponsored, but typically it takes a year, unfortunately. Why do they do that? Why does it take a long time when someone's abroad versus in America? I'm assuming it's because of the pandemic, there's a huge backlog. Okay, it's not 500,000 anymore, people waiting, but still pretty substantial. Last I checked, I think it was at least 300,000. All right, so, but yeah, but unless you're talking about, your petition was approved, that's different. It could be like in a couple months to do the next step. You need to get the NVC email. Expect to get the email with a new NVC case number and invoice number to pay the fees. Tamanda, your OPT was approved. Wonderful. Glad to hear. Which, by the way, folks, there's a tight deadline. After you graduate, you got less than 30 days to file for that. It's pretty ridiculous timeline. But I don't think all schools tell people. Do I proceed to apply for I-130 or what? I mean, if I'm assuming maybe you're married to a U.S. citizen, then yes, you can. You don't have to. But Tamanda, only if you think you found the right fit. I was talking about the 5 love languages. I'm not a dating expert, but boy, there's a lot of divorces in America. I think it sometimes just boils down to communication, right? So I know some people are OPT and they may be dating someone that's a U.S. citizen or married already, but you're like, just in case things don't work out, great. You want to focus on your OPT or H-1B in the future, which, by the way, Tamanda, if you're thinking about H-1B, the registration is in March. Okay, early March. It happens only one time a year, folks. So if you have some kind of degree, bachelor's, master's, you may want to consider it. But the job that you work for has to be related to your degree. So that's the catch on that one. Let's see. Zay, does age gap between spouses matter Yes, it can. Does it always? No, but I think if it's like 10 years, if I had to put a number to it, if it's like 10 years, age is nothing but a number, right? I play by that rule, but in that note, you need to be ready what to say at the interview. Okay, and that's all true, going to be true story. And that's the other thing about the real story I was sharing about the topic of today is because y'all don't talk to each other. And when you get a denial letter, okay, typically it's on the I-130 denial letter that's going to list all the long list of inconsistent statements. Like, how come? And it's tripping me up, y'all. It is tripping me up. And sometimes it's one of the most it's the number one question. How did you meet? When did you meet? And people get confused because maybe literally the first time you met was like in passing, okay? And maybe you met at a bar through a friend's party. So it was like in passing. You didn't talk to each other, but y'all were looking at each other from afar, right? You're like, that person might be hot stuff, right? Right? That person might be cute. I want to talk to a person. So one person might say, like, oh, that was July 1st. But then when you finally actually met in person for the first date, the other significant other might say that that was the date, like October 1st. And so that's why y'all need to, number one, at least talk to each other. And then number two is like, at least that might be one reason to hire a lawyer because we have those list of questions, right? We have cases and clients that have gone through this process, and USCIS officers tend to follow the same roadmap of questions because they're trained by a training manual, right? They're supposed to not just ask random questions, but we also have a list of random questions, especially when it was under the Trump administration. So some of those officers that may be trained under the Trump administration might still exist in the system. So you just need to be ready for that. Okay. Whatever hell you find on the online blog might not be good enough. Okay. Because we have what we offer for our clients is a one-on-one. We already have a video like this, like YouTube, Facebook, all that. We already have a video like essentially like what Tasha's asking on YouTube is that we have a video that answers all the common questions, but everyone has a very specific life circumstance facts that's why we ask clients to still schedule a meeting with us, okay, before the interview, so we can provide more tips. All right, Jeremy, is that Jamaican flag? 485. Man, you look like you work out in your profile photo. I need to get some tips from you. 485 approved, 69 days now. You didn't get your green card. Can you work legally? Congratulations on your 485 getting approved. Yeah, technically you can start working. The company you work for will ask for proof. They're not supposed to ask you for specific proof, but they're supposed to give you an I-9 identity document list, and not supposed to tell you like, oh, I need your U.S. certificate of U.S. citizenship or your copy of your green card. But when you have a green card, resident card, then that essentially means that you can work, authorized to work in the United States. So if it allows on the USCIS website, I recommend submitting inquiry to the USCIS website. It's under the tools and resources. Hopefully that can get it going for you. Yeah, I have heard it seems to be quite a problem. Unfortunately, you're not the only one that has issues with getting the green card produced. We still have at least one client that got approved, I believe, in May this year. We submitted inquiry after inquiry almost every 30 days, and still nothing. It's freaking frustrating. Fortunately, that it's only happened to one of our clients. That does abandonment qualify for VAWA? It depends on it depends on facts for everything, but it can. We need to look at that. Learn the facts of your situation, but it is possible. Yes, I know lawyers tend to say it depends, right? But it's true. I mean, because if I say yes and then someone to any question, then some people are gonna, some people might just file something and then, anyways, always better talk one-on-one. But yes, it is possible. All right, her versus her. Voluntary deportation, but never left. What can happen for her? First marriage was not bona fide. I guess you're asking for a friend. That's very nice of you. Um, so when a voluntary departure order from the court means you have 120 days to exit. Typically, they can reduce that amount of time and say, okay, you only got 90 days if they want to be mean about it, or if you have like DWI hit record or some kind of criminal history. But if anyway, if you don't leave, like your friend, I guess, then that voluntary deportation order turns into a removal order. Is that bad? Yes, it's bad if like you get put back in the court system and then you also want to ask for voluntary departure again. They're not going to give it to you. So that's an example. But yeah, currently the law is that you still, if let's say you are married to a U.S. citizen or you will be, you want to. Some people ask, well, can I still stay here in America and still go through that process? Unfortunately, no, because then if it was possible, then that would defeat the purpose of the voluntary departure order. So that person technically still has to live outside the United States by default 10 years. However, you can apply for a waiver. Okay, that's a good thing. The caveat to that is that you still need to do the petition first, and then after the petition approved, and then after the interview, eventually abroad, then you can apply for the waiver, file the waiver. Okay. Unfortunately, you can't shortcut the process, the timing by saying like, some people ask, can we file the waiver on day one? I wish that was possible. I really wish. It depends on the situation. If the person was in America, didn't have voluntary departure, and is applying for adjustment status, then yes, you can file the waiver at the same time. Let's say like someone may have lied about something. Okay, so Chalk Dimples. That's a good profile name. Got to give you some credit on that one. Can you get a green card with a false claim to citizenship? I would love to know more facts about that, but there might be. You're a VAWA survivor. I need to check if there's a carve out for that, like an exception. But for us to remember to check that for you, please give us a call. Or you're on TikTok, so send us a DM. Secret code today for the strategy session, no cost to you, for 15 minutes is USA. So there are situations like someone contacted us about that they filled out the voter registration application because the DPS, the motor vehicle clerk, said, would you like to be, vote? But they didn't say, would you like to be a U.S. citizen? I guess they assumed it, but they filled it out. I think the first or second question actually asked, are you a U.S. citizen? And the client actually wrote no. But somehow, I think it was the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles still processed the registration, the voter registration. Is like, holy hell, like if someone actually marked no, I mean, I think it's supposed to like help. So this whole shitstorm of Governor Abbott in Texas trying to say like charging people left and right for voting is like, well, actually your system sucks, right? You've been governor for so long, your system sucks. So you got to make it better. And practically speaking, it's just at step one at the application. And even before the application, the DPS clerk or DMV clerk should not even be offering people to register to vote. It's ridiculous. I don't know why people are doing that. So if you have no status in America or you have resident in America, you cannot register to vote. Please don't do it. Please just don't do it. The reason I'm bringing it up, I think this is related to Chalk Dimple's question, is that the first thought is that could be a false claim to citizenship, the act of registering or the act of voting, but not necessarily based on the research. Okay. So we do have to charge for that, by the way, for certain situations like this, because especially depending where you live, the case law in certain regions of the country, we call it circuit courts, could be different. It's very frustrating. But yeah, so because that person that I'm referring to had applied to become a U.S. citizen, he or she was still a resident, and it got denied twice because that act of voting was during the statutory period of 5 years, good moral character period. So after those 5 years, they can refile. So I don't know your situation, Chalk Dimples, of what led to a possible false claim of citizenship, but we're happy to take a look. Okay. So I just share that example of a client because, you don't want to, some people can get denied. You might be wondering, well, why the hell did I get denied? Because sometimes USCIS gives like a blank statement. It's not specific enough. So, you might think like, oh, I'm just going to give up. Like, no, y'all, this is why I'm on a live show Monday through Friday, killing myself when I probably need to drink some water. I didn't have my cup with me, my mug, but I'm actually coughing a little. So I got some cough drops, which, by the way, if you think you're sick and getting a little, it's almost October, consider taking flu shot. I'm not saying COVID-19. That's a difficult decision, but I think flu shot is very important. I'm not a doctor, but talk to a doctor if you're not sure about it. I just took mine last week at Costco. It was very easy. But anyway, life is short, folks. So just try to take care of yourselves. Okay, yeah, Tasha, you said a DMV computer would not let you move on. Just ask someone to help you. Yeah, yeah, and who knows? I mean, this one was on paper. This, I don't remember. I think this is like 20 years ago. So it was at least on paper application. Unfortunately, she had a copy of it. I'm sorry, he or she. Let's see. Prita on TikTok, will it affect someone to get a green card? Look, y'all. I got this huge jug. Anyone drink water like this? I need to fill it up. It's clearly empty. Let me put it to my side, my notebook here. If someone had 4 DWIs and American, can they get a green card? It's possible, but man, he or she might get tagged with habitual drunkard. So it's just, you got to look at it, maybe timing, things like that. Really got to have a story behind that. Okay. But it is still possible. Just got to look at the timing of the facts. This day and age, folks, please, I mean, I'm not saying stop drinking, but please call Uber, not call. That's the old school way, I guess. But there's still services for private taxi. Use Uber and Uber app or Lyft app, whatnot. Okay. All right. I guess it's a good time. I'm just taking a little pause here to share with you. If you're just now joining the show, welcome. We do offer a strategy session for 15 minutes with one of our premier attorneys. I'm not the go-to person in consults, to be honest. My team told me that I should just focus on other things like the live shows, for example. But if you do, I do offer to still meet with y'all one-on-one if you pay for it. I hate charging for something like this, but I really just wanted to point you in the right direction. It, of course, is our pleasure to assist you in your case, start to finish as a client. But I know some of y'all just have that one question, and I'm happy to point you in the right direction. But for me specifically, I do have to charge. I believe I do offer 30 minutes or an hour. So it's a little bit different pricing wise. And, but yeah, hopefully, let's see. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't do everything all the time anymore now that the team's grown. Let's see what else. What does it mean your case is taking longer than expected on Marriage Base? I'm laughing because every time I have a chance to talk to a USCIS officer in the customer service or contact hotline, I asked them this question. I said, where's my, I thought I had my daughter's phone for props. I hear that people are saying on their account profile with USCIS, it says taking a long time, taking longer than normal, or like it's 4 weeks out or 2 weeks out. Is this accurate for the 2 weeks out or 4 weeks out, for example? And they always say, no, I'm so sorry. That is incorrect. And of course, I'm not going to yell at them. I can't do that. What's the point of that? They're not the ones in control of this technology issue with USCIS. Look, Domino's Pizza. If you've ever ordered pizza from them, or just read about their pizza tracker online, I'm not sponsored. That would be cool, by the way, if anyone works for Domino's. But, their pizza tracker is very accurate. The couple times I've used them or ordered pizza from them, I think it also tells you when the next step is about to take place, like 10 minutes later, expect it to be ready for pickup. And I'm like, holy hell, that's amazing. Like, why can't USCIS do that? Why can't the world superpower, number one superpower country, whatever how you phrase it, cannot have this technology? Surely they can have it. Do they want to provide that information to you? Hell no, they don't want to provide it to you. They don't want to do that. That's why you have lawyers, to give you a better idea of what to expect. Okay. It's just very sad. They can definitely afford to have this system. I mean, Domino's spent millions of dollars on this, apparently, according to some articles. So USCIS is funded by your application fees. They're not funded by Congress. So maybe that's another reason, unfortunately. But yeah, they just don't want to. They don't want to make your situation easier. Okay, that's why we sue the government from time to time. And when I mean time to time, almost every day. Snow, New York 14. Is it possible to report fraud on marriage, even if the reporter is non-immigrant? So I think you mean, I guess, if the other person is a U.S. citizen, I suppose. I mean, in general, I mean, or non-immigrant, meaning like non-immigrant visa. Well, in general, anyone can report someone, but and I understand. I believe it can be like anonymous, but you definitely want to make sure it was legit or not, because it could definitely ruin someone's life in that sense. But I mean, to each their own. I would think that if you're asking that question, then that person's obviously a really bad person. I mean, not obviously, but that's what I suspect. Okay, you just got married. Do you need a lawyer to change status, or can you do your own? So when you get married, you don't need to file a separate application for change of status. The 539 application, that's not required. I know it's weird because in other applications you need to file that application or request that. So that's another great question. That's not listed on the USCIS website. Let's see. On YouTube, V Star Mama 64. Does each consulate allow or not for the petitioner to attend an interview appointment? Marianne, thanks for your question. I've heard that some allow it, but not proactively. Like if you just happen to be there, you can pop in, but I don't recommend it. Okay. If you get an extra person in the interview, that's going to open the door for the officer to ask more questions. The way we prep our clients is that answer the question to the best of your ability in a very pinpointed way so that you don't open the door for more questions. Okay. It's got to be a straightforward answer because they give you a straightforward question. So I'm not saying like if someone says, how are you? Like, I'm fine. Like you got a little bit more elaboration, right? Or how did you meet? At a bar. Like a little bit more elaboration, right? But you don't want to go like overboard, share too much information. So that's inherently going to happen if you have petitioner come, the sponsor, to the visa interview abroad. I just don't recommend it at all, even if the consulate does allow it, which default is no. Default across the world. You just don't want to do that. I don't recommend it. I mean, assuming it's a marriage case, it's just not recommended. If I'm a betting man, I'm pretty sure all lawyers, immigration lawyers, would say the same thing. Okay, Dan, finance is. Oh, I think you mean fiance is Chinese, doesn't want to change the last name. You're fine, but will USCIS care? No, they don't care. This is the 20th. This is 2023. They don't care about that. It's not necessary. Doing EB2. You're doing EB2 together. Okay, cool. Congrats. Hopefully, I think the visa bulletin still's got some retrogression on that in the October bulletin. So hopefully by November it should open back up in that sense, back to normal, because we're coming up in the fiscal year. So I know someone asked earlier about government shutdown, what I think about that. Typically when this happens, because it's coming down to the wire here, they get to some like temporary agreement for now. But yeah, normally, I don't recall, it could be at least one time when I was a lawyer in my career, is that one time where it did shut down around this time, because fiscal year starts October 1st. So they had to do that very soon. But the other times I do recall more vividly that the government shut down in like December, right? Because they just couldn't continue They could, but they just didn't get into agreement of the budget. Okay, that's what it boils down to, is the budget. So for USCIS, in terms of if you're asking about like your case processing, will it still continue? Yes, for USCIS, but for the most part, most USCIS officers still be working, but not. It's going to be. I know that some of y'all will be sad that ICE typically, I believe, also gets I guess affected by this in the court system. Court cases will get rescheduled. Happens every time. That's one reason why we accept very limited court cases on purpose. So because some people ask like, can you accept my case? When I'm like, it's not really winnable. So a lot of lawyers would be willing to take your case, but with the government shutdown, we've had some case like got started in 2015 and still pending. It's 2023 right now. So it's ridiculous. I mean, sometimes more time is better, but I know a lot of people just want the resolution to get it done and over with. So let's see. Let me go back to Snow, New York about this question. So it is important to, if you truly suspect fraud on a marriage, it is truly important that that the government knows about it, right? But because but also because we've also received calls from people, maybe found us on TikTok, YouTube, whatnot, Facebook, and we have the consultation with them, strategy session, and I just get the sense that this is not legit. I get that sense. My part of my job is to read people. I'm not a mind reader, but to get a sense of body language. Because look, when you're at the interview, they're gonna review your body language also. So if you're just kind of like turned to the side, like you're looking at the corner of the wall or something, that's a pretty doggone sign that you're not in a legit marriage. So anyways, what the hell did I just say? Doggone. I guess because I live in Texas, I learned this weird lingo. Okay, Naomi, can someone married to a U.S. citizen but you're out of status and husband has refused to petition still get GC? I don't know what you mean. Your husband doesn't want to file a petition? What kind of nonsense is that? Or maybe it's not you. Maybe hypothetically. I don't know how that would be possible. Is that what you're saying? Maybe you can follow up with some more information, Naomi. Can someone married to a U.S. citizen but out of status but married? So you can be out of status. Like if you overstayed your visa and you're married to a U.S. citizen, you can still get status if you file the petition and the 485. When you're married to a U.S. citizen, they actually waive the unlawful presence, which is amazing. But if you entered America without a visa, then that's a different story. You need a waiver and things like that. So let me go to Richard. Okay, Richard. Are the rules safe for LGBTQ marriages? Yes. In terms of they allow it, the USCIS does accept LGBTQ marriages as long as it follows state law. Okay, and the definition of a marriage with USCIS, which does mention same-sex marriages, if that's what you mean by LGBTQ. Okay. Let me go to Baba Yaga. Okay, you did a Stokes interview in New York City. No discrepancies. Officer said needs for supervisor review. So you said, and when you say Stokes interview, you mean like you guys were separated, right? So that's good. If you said the same thing, I have a feeling that you and your spouse may have gone through the questions together after the interview. So if that's the case and no discrepancies, you should be fine. But I mean, yeah, and in general, when it's a Stokes interview or just any case, it always has to go to the supervisor. But sometimes when I've been in there in person, when I give them my laser eyes, just kindly ask them, of course, is there anything what can we expect in terms of just so we can get an idea. We have to kindly ask. Can't be demanding things because obviously going to be demanding things. Then I'll also be like, something's up. Why do you need your status so quickly? So you don't want to be demanding. Not saying that you are Baba Yaga, but okay, that's a good sign. No inconsistencies. All right. But yeah, there's no timetable on when they need to get back to you. They can hold off as long as they want. In fact, your case might get stuck. I hope not, because it goes to supervisor review. It might get stuck, and then you might have to sue the government, right? But I would wait on it. Hopefully, it doesn't take 6 months. But if it takes 6 months, Baba Yaga, then give us a call. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know. Did I answer everyone's question? Okay, we're almost at 50 minutes. We are at 50 minutes. I can answer one more question. But before I answer that, if you're just joining us on the show, welcome to Green Card Guys TV. I'm your host, John Ting. I practice immigration law in all 50 states of America. And yes, we do have a physical office. I know some lawyers are saying they're all remote. Yes, we accept cases remotely, but we do have an office. We have a bunch of clients in other states, in different cities. But our office is in Houston, Texas, our main one. All right. So you're welcome to come hang out. You can live in a different city and come hang out. Some people have flown in. I'm honestly surprised. Even though we have, this day and age of like video call and everything, some people have flown in and met me at the office. So I think it's pretty cool. If you're going to fly in, we might as well go out to eat. Okay, folks, because Houston has a lot of great food. You want to take advantage of it. So anyways, I don't know if my wife would appreciate that. But anyways, if you want a strategy session for 15 minutes, no cost to you, we can do it by video call. And the secret code today is USA. No, not so creative. But let me answer one more question. Is it true that the work permit is for 5 years now? Yes, it is for 5 years. I don't believe it's for every single EAD category. I have to check on that again. I will record a separate video about that and share the information soon. Is it true that your work can sponsor you for a green card? Yes, user 01010. Yes, that is true. That work and company can sponsor you. Now, the details of it, if you're already in America and you're overstayed your visa, then you need to qualify, be eligible for a waiver as well, which we can figure that out before your company even sponsors you. So, yeah, there's a lot to look into that. All right, folks, appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. If you got some kind of value or benefit you enjoyed the way we shared answers, content, please tap the screen on TikTok, hit the like button, the thumbs up on Facebook and YouTube. And then also, if you actually already spoke to our CARES team member, please share your experience with others by going to reviewtinglaw.com. All right, reviewtinglaw.com. I greatly appreciate it. It will mean the world to our team members. And please mention their name because they do get bonuses at the end of each month. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks, Britt. Thank you very much for the roses. So I will see y'all tomorrow, hopefully at noon. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.